Oh, wow. Wow.
Here we go. Watch the lights. Green flag. Hit it. Hit it.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Brno circuit here today for round 2 of your Simraceway Design for Speed Championship. Last week saw some brilliant action, but the round before, the first round of this championship, was simply breathtaking, and the drivers returned today with the gorgeous Toyota TS020s, the predecessors to the TS030s and the 40s that were racing at Le Mans today. Here for 27 laps of action is Lounger on pole on the outside, but remember AG06 could get a run on the inside of turn 1 if he's lucky. The lights go out and round 2 of the championship underway. Watch out for Lolin Fox as well in third on the outside line. We'll see what he can produce as they go 3 wide onwards to the very back of the field there. You can see them all scramble round, and AG06 gets wiped out. I think Stuntman Mike was involved as well. There is a restart on the way. Maybe just a little bit of pre-race nerves there for the drivers. They know that this race marks almost a halfway mark in the championship. They're just getting maybe a little bit too hot under the wheel. Obviously very warm temperatures out on the circuit. You go in there with cold brakes and cold tyres. Things aren't always going to go to plan. There will be the odd error, and drivers have got to be very, very much aware about using their launch control systems situated within the car. It's very easy to forget, but just going to try and keep a calm head. 27 lap race. You can't win it in the first lap, but you can certainly lose it. We'll bring you the race once again in just a minute's time. Okay, so we're back live here at Brno for round 2 of your Design for Speed Championship. As we've said before, the opening round was an absolute blinder. The TS020s lined up in big numbers here today. 13 drivers overall, with 14 there just making it in the end for Devil Bevin. So a packed field of Toyotas all looking to try and master the Brno circuit. Many of the drivers familiar. Some will be their first time encountering them in a car this powerful. 600 horsepower sits directly underneath the driver. A little bit of a jump start midfield there. Did get corrected. We're away for round 2 of the championship. Big start there by Lolin Fox. He immediately goes to the outside, and a very poor start by the pole sitter Lounger. Under deep assault there from AG06, who's got the run into turn 1. Lounger forced right round the outside. He's gonna lose out there. The disadvantage of starting on pole at this circuit in particular, but somehow powers it round back the outside and has got the position back. So now it's Stuntman Mike, who's also under a little bit of fight there from, I think that's Jamie 1, and Lolin Fox goes wide. Stuntman Mike gets very leery. We've got a spinner in the back, a little bit of argy-bargy. 2 drivers, or 3 that were involved, Fregel, Tally-Ho, and I believe that was El Nino as well. Yes, it was. So Tally-Ho, good for him. I'll be repeating that name at some point soon because his race not gone too well so far. And just as we've said that, we've got another spinner, and this time it's Stuntman Mike 24, and he's done that just before getting into the mid part of the circuit, isn't he? Now, hopefully he hasn't stalled the car. The engine's seemingly not moving, unless he's just waiting for all traffic to clear and to go. No, it's a retirement. So first retirement of the day then for Stuntman Mike. That brings our total entry list down to 13, but look at the lead already now. The Lounger has mustered up. He lost the lead into turn 1, regained it back on the exit, and now has got himself 1.3 seconds back to AG06. Jamie there in second, or third now, beg your pardon, bringing that train with him. You can see an update from Stuntman Mike that he's got some rear end damage. He's not happy after colliding with the wall at quite a big force. AGO, then Jamie, then Lolin Fox, back to Gaber, Anxiety, Luke Sky, Devil Bevin, Mr. PA, Jolly, and Fregel round out your top 11 at the moment. It's all looking pretty close as well as they come towards the end of lap number 1. Over the start finish line they go, and it's all just like trying to maybe get a rundown in towards that first corner. I think everybody's fully aware as to how difficult it can be. Side-by-side action in the backfield there between Jolly and PA though. That's over P10, and PA's lost out. In fact, it's Jolly that's taken the position on the inside of the first corner. And not a bad move at all there by Mr. Jolly. Let's see if PA can retaliate or no. It's looking like it's going to be a fairly conservative run back at him though for Mr. PA. We're expecting something a little bit more adventurous, but as we say, 26 laps to go. You don't really want to go throwing anything away just yet. You've got a long stint ahead of you. Although maybe not quite as long as some of the drivers that the Le Mans 24 Hours had today, and I think something's got to be said that from all of us here at Simraceway, I think we wished a massive congratulations to the Audi team on yet another victory at Le Mans. It's thoroughly deserved and they'll be simply overjoyed with it. So the warmest congratulations from everyone, but not just for Audi as well and all of the podiums in LMP1, but also the GT classes, seeing the Aston Martin team on the podium, not only the podium but winning after the tragedy of last year, was simply an amazing and heartfelt touch. So once again, Simraceway send their kindest regards and congratulations to everyone at Le Mans today on their performances. But back to the endurance race we've got just in front of us right now, as Jamie 1 gets a little bit squirmy there in third, make that fourth and maybe fifth now. That move cost him big time as he starts to sink a little down the order. He's down to fifth now as the field starts to segregate out. He's only got Axvarti behind him, then a bit of a breather before Luke Sky, and by a breather we mean about 3 seconds. Over the line he'll come, and Axvarti will follow and pursue that fifth position with everything he's got. But when you just start in lap number 3, you don't really want to risk anything too audacious into the first corner, but if it's handed to you on a plate like that one almost was, and who are you not to take it? Jamie 1 has made a fair few errors in this opening stint or so, and he's got to be very careful, because if he doesn't start rectifying these soon, they're going to play a hindrance on his race, and it is not the sort of mistake he needs to be making right now. Not in a position like this, with the championship firmly underway here at Simraceway. You cannot afford to be given up positions and losing out those critical points. The field's starting to stick together in the midfield section, but at the front it's all looking like a very dominating performance by Lounger at the moment. 3.3 seconds in front of AG06, and it's Lolling Fox tucked away there, 4.1 away, with Max Gaber in fourth and Jamie rounding out your top 5. It'll be very intriguing to see if Lolling Fox will be able to kind of move over on AG06 or no and make up for lost time after last round. It's Jamie 1 who's got to be making up for lost ground, because that one mistake cost him a podium spot. He's now just inside the top 5. By just inside we mean Axvarti still pursuing a very impressive 5th position. Axvarti said it all week long, we've said it for many weeks here in different championships and series, that this man is one of the quickest when it comes to overall performance, but he's just never quite found the consistency level needed to be a firm contender, and hopefully he can right that wrong here today. Find out into turn 1 yet another time. He's going to be wide there, hasn't he? He's going to have to try and get the drive out of the corner, but I've got a feeling that Jamie 1 is going to retain that. The answer is yes, he will. A bit of side-by-side action there. That's over 8th place Devil Bevin and Luke Sky. Luke trying to go round the outside. Very tricky apex to do it on. You'll run out of road soon before you get the move complete. He's on the inside for the next corner, and Johnny sneaks through and hits Devil Bevin off and careering into the barriers. That's surely going to be some sort of reprimand there for Mr. Jolly, and Devil Bevin will be fiendishly unhappy with that one. He thought he just let one position go, and out of nowhere Jolly charged for a hole, and that hole unfortunately closed up way quicker than he could react. And before you know it, the two cars were doing a little more than trading pain. They were trading identities almost, as the drivers were so close together, and you can see the damage that it's done to Devil Bevin's race. He spins yet again, making his way downhill into turn number 7, and that is going to cost him extremely dearly coming the end of this race. Still plenty of the race left to go. It's still Lounger in firm control though. 10 seconds now after just 4 laps of racing. He navigates his way to the start-finish line once again, and this man is putting on a domineering performance like Toyota in the opening stint of Le Mans hopefully doesn't suffer the same fate. Or the battle, meanwhile, is happening with the other prototypes for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and this battle really starting to pick up right now as AG06 that currently heads it, with Lolin Fox hammering down on him. Max Agaber just about keeping with them. I'm sure a Swift on board with Max Agaber would really prove how important this battle is and how exciting it is to watch around the circuit, which is primarily designed for these sorts of cars. It's fantastic to see, you know, back in the day when the GT1 Championship used to run here and these cars throw themselves around the corners. Big long straights for the prototypes to stretch their legs, and then these tight windy sections which require so much downforce. It's hard to pick a setup, and that's what lack of downforce can do. Max Agaber spins from 2nd, the car's in neutral, he's got to wait for the road to clear, and that's going to seem like an eternity. He's going to get it turned around. Down to 10th position he goes, and just as we mentioned, downforce, the car loses rear end grip, and around goes Max Agaber in a self-inflicted incident. Down the hairpin there, and seemingly trouble-free so far, comes your race leader. Lounger has been looking absolutely solid all afternoon long here. Over the line in a 1:42.1 from Lounger, as well. I was just waiting to see the difference between the times of the top 5 then. So 1:42.1 from Lounger, a 1:43.3, a 1:43.5 from Lolin Fox, a 1:43.4 from Jamie 1, and a 1:43.3 from Alex Varty. So Alex Varty could well be an underdog as P5-2 start to close in once again. Lounger still furthering his lead, which stands at still currently around 9 seconds, but all the focus has been on that battle over the final couple of podium positions, isn't it? After Max Agaber dropped back from it, he's now trying to catch up with this battle between Fregel and Jolly. Now, Jolly's already been in the wars today. He's up the inside there of Fregel to take 8th place, so still pushing his way through the field. Fregel seemingly having no answer for Jolly's very assertive technique there up the inside. I think all eyes still need to be the battle for 2nd and 3rd, and the duo fighting over 4th and 5th of Jamie and Alex Varty. Alex Varty's been there for quite some time now. 9 minutes racing distance we're almost at. They've still got a long way to go here at Brno. It's all about consistency, and I think these drivers are starting to just settle into a rhythm. They don't want to start pushing each other too hard. We've seen many casualties here in the mid-stint where drivers start to lapse focus and lose a little bit of concentration, and hopefully we don't see that here today. But out of the final corner comes AG06 again, still keeping Lolin Fox at bay, which is what many fans in the grandstands, should they were there, be waiting to see. But P2, 3 and 4 and 5 separated by a mere 4 seconds at the moment. With the gap between AG06 and Lolin Fox in the fight for 2nd, just 0.6. There's still plenty of rivalry to ensure between those two. Are right on board with Lolin Fox as he almost has a little twitch to the inside there. That LMP1 car, well, back in the day when it was run actually, it was called a GT1, wasn't it, the Toyota? But it's still trying to look to the inside, and a little bit of oversteer as he kicks out of the corner. Doing absolutely everything in his power to just stay with AG06. You know he's got the faster machine, but of course, every second he's staying behind AG06 is the second he's losing to the race leader. He's right over that tail end as well, isn't he? As Jamie 1 and Alex Varty, I think, are also suffering the same problem between them. They just can't really find the moves to get through. And I'm going to try and bring in a bit of background sound as well here to see maybe a bit of atmosphere from the commentary box up here at Brno. Give you an update as to how these cars really sound, and probably primarily man to give you a sound of that would be Lolin Fox, because that car sounds delightful right now. Let's go on board with him and just hear these sounds. as they climb the hill, you can really just get a sense as to how hard that man is pushing. He's been stuck behind for quite a while now. El Nino, we believe, has had a bit of an off in P12. Indeed, that's another retirement. He's apologised, saying he's tired, and obviously in a race like this where fatigue matters so much, it's a really difficult thing to overcome. But the field's still separated by not very much at all, are they? That battle for second is still looking as competitive as ever, as enticing as it was a few laps ago. AG06 still firmly in front of Lolling Fox, but not for long. Lolling Fox to the inside, then it's going to be an ambitious manoeuvre. Who knows will be on the outside for the next corner. They don't touch wheels. Late break in there by the man in second. Fends off the attack. But look who's joined the party. The cavalry is along for the ride. Jamie and Anxiety line up behind them to form a very, very intense fight indeed. And now P2 to 5 separated by just under 1.3 seconds. No more than 4 car lengths between them. And we're only on lap 8, still plenty of racing to be had here at the circuit of Brno, the 13 corner circuit, which we've seen so many memorable moments at. And one for me was definitely commentating that race with the Audi R18 TDIs, my first ever commentary with Radio Le Mans commentator John Hindhoff, who I'm sure was plenty busy this weekend at the Circuit de la Sarthe. Definitely one of the moments for my Simraceway career which really stood out to me as being special, and this race could be another. The circuit never fails to deliver some fantastic action and is living up to the hype once again. It's still AG06 that leads that battle, but only by a small fraction of a margin. As up the inside almost was Anxiety. He's getting a bit impatient now, and I think he's starting to sense that that move's all going to come together very, very shortly. Over the start-finish line, he arrives once again. Lap number 9 will be started. And still no avail just yet, though. That top 4 looking increasingly competitive, though. At this about third of the way stage almost now, we're getting close. So furiously battling are the prototypes at the moment, the Toyota TS020s. If you're just joining us, welcome to the circuit of Brno for the Design for Speed Championship, one which has delivered plenty of plot twists along the way, all championship long. It's the second race, but of course, having other Skillquants as well. We believe the 500 to 900 Skillquant had an absolutely breathtaking race earlier on, so if any of the drivers have some footage of that, be sure to upload it to YouTube. I'm sure many of us here would love to see just how he got on. It was a fantastic spectacle, as is the race we're seeing right now. This is the 900 to 1100A Skillquant, so the very highest in the Skillquant ranking system, and they're giving their absolute all to put on a show for us here today. And a very wide Anxiety there, maybe just a little bit of dirty air after being in the draft of Jamie for a little too long. Very easy thing to do. I think you've just got to appreciate how much these drivers are pushing. They may look like they're only going about 80–90%, but they are way over their limits, maybe 110%. So another lap completed, and just to give you an idea, Lounger is now 22 seconds clear of that fight in second and third. G06 still heading it up at the moment, and it's now become a three-way battle for the second spot on the podium after it looks like Anxiety's dropped off quite a bit since that little moment he had towards the latter stage of the last lap. And if you're joining us here on the YouTube channel as well, a big welcome to you all. Hope you all had a fantastic race weekend. I'm sure many of you will be very tired after the spectacle we saw at Le Mans earlier on. But be sure to get involved with us here live at Simraceway using the @Simraceway Twitter page. Just tweet us your thoughts, or get involved on the web chat as well. We'd be brilliant to talk to some of you on there about the racing that we're seeing today, because surely these battles are not going to die down anytime soon. They've put on a brilliant show for us in the opening 10 laps, and the best part is we've still got another 17 to go. And as those 4 prototypes look to, we just get a little bit on edge now as the sky looks to get a little bit greyer up at the top. You can just see the lights looking looking a little dimmer on the circuit, which means maybe the grip levels are fading ever so slightly. And that may not sound like a lot, but it could mean the world of difference to these drivers, because once the grip level's fade, if you're already in a slipstream, when you get reduced drag, that car is going to slide around more than an ice skate in the middle of the polar ice cap, I suppose, but over the line goes Olin Fox once again. Now I think the best thing to compare it to is AGO6 goes to the inside, well, at least thinks about it, the road gets closed off, but when you go down a water slide on holiday and you feel yourself helplessly sliding around, going up and down all over the place, it's exactly what these cars feel like when the grip levels start to drop. The track temperatures also drop coincidentally with the ambient temperatures and the brakes as well, so these drivers start to lose a lot of front end grip when you're drafting another car anyway, and you break through that pocket of air, it can really be a big problem. Down into the heavy braking section goes Olin Fox, and now it's Jamie that's gone slightly wide, and that's going to allow Anxiety to close right back up on him. He's reinserted himself in this battle here. A little update as well now I think we should do as to what's going on a bit further down the field. So Luke Sky is now the man in 6th place, just in front of Baxagaba. Tally Ho has recovered well in his debut in 8th, in front of Fregel in 9th, Mr. PA in 10th, Jolly, who's gone backwards. He was in 8th a minute ago, last time we checked, so making his way past Fregel. El Nino is out of the race in 12th, and Devil Bevin has also retired, along with Studman Mike in 13th and 14th position. Sideways there, wasn't it, for Jamie, who goes in towards the final corner. He's going to lose a lot of drive and maybe even a potential slipstream to Anxiety as those 4 prototypes go over the line once again to start lap number 12 out of 27. Now Jamie up the inside again, he's looking now, he's getting a little bit restless behind the Toyota of AGO6, and they're just in front as well. That's going to allow maybe Olin Fox to have a bit of a breather. It's the biggest gap he's had in quite some time, 2.7 seconds. Going to maybe get his head straight on a bit now and focus on the tarmac that's in front as opposed to worrying about the onslaught that's lurking behind him. Another interesting issue to pick up on as well, Lounger is also starting to approach some traffic. Lounger's making his way through the final couple of corners now, and the car he's going to be closest to approaching is actually Mr. Jolly, so not a welcome sight I'm sure that will be for the Scotsman, but as Jamie still tries to keep that pressure firmly applied to the back of AGO6, it's still a very, very similar story. Oh, Jamie's off the back end, exactly what we were talking about earlier on. Anxiety sends the opportunity, sends one slinging down the inside, and he may have just secured the manoeuvre. Jamie fights, he tries to get back to the inside line or at least pick up some sort of draft, and the road gets closed off again. Anxiety, a very opportunistic and a very smart manoeuvre by the man who now moves up into 4th position. Jamie will be kicking himself for days with that one. He shouldn't have given up that kind of opportunity, he shouldn't have lost that rear end, and unfortunately though, that has been a major, major flaw. If it can sort out a little later on, but right now it looks to me like Olin Fox has got it all easy. Now he's got himself nearly 3 seconds back to the nearest driver. You've got Lounger who's literally just about to make his way past Mr. Jolly, so the traffic issue will be relieved of the race leader very, very shortly. Just behind AGO6 is where it's all starting to take shape now though, isn't it? Because if Jamie wasn't feisty enough already trying to get into second, he'll now be even feistier trying to retake what would be 4th position. Agvarti's gone wide and may have just given him the perfect platform to do such a thing, but once again, cut away from him. Agvarti having to be very careful now about how he defends this one. Another lap under the belt and almost another position as Jamie tried to get himself alongside. Apologies for the short pause. I was just taking a look through because Luke Sky is the first driver officially to have his lights illuminated then. So visibility may be a bit of an issue, as I thought the light was getting a little bit bleaker out in the heart of the Brno circuit. Indeed that is the case, the track temperatures are dropping, and that's going to be a real issue now for those 3 or 4 prototypes dueling away. I would say 4, but it's looking like Lolin Fox has pulled out a mighty lead now over them, as this gap extends to nearly 3.5–4 seconds. He's got the pit button lit up, so if there's a mid-race stop, he's going to try and do it now. So we're literally just over midway through the race, and it's looking at about 45 minutes race distance for these prototypes here today. And a scary statistic would be, if you think 45 minutes is a long time to be behind the wheel, not even a third of what the drivers in the Le Mans 24 Hours would have been doing, some into the car for up to 4 hours at a time before their driver change. And we've got a car in the background, and that's Agvarti, and we've said it again. Agvarti, the man who's so quick week in, week out, but can never find a consistency. And once again, a problem hits him. He's now dropped back to 5th position. So Jamie will be feeling absolutely on top of the world, but Agvarti will be kicking himself, and it's an error that unfortunately keeps coming back to haunt him. It's like a phase. He's just the Mark Webber, isn't he, of the Simraceway world. Constant streams of bad luck in whichever way you look. We have got some cars on pit road. Lolin Fox is one. He's missed his pit box there, I'm assuming. Yeah, he definitely has. Now that is not ideal for him. So he's got it straightened up, and that's going to lose him a huge chunk of time overall. A couple of other cars making their way down pit road on the exit. One of those belonging to, I think, the lapped car Nebin. So Fox definitely did miss his pit box. He's not at all happy with that one. And that's going to cost him some extremely valuable time when it comes to the end of the race later on. But still, I think there's a little bit of strategy left right now then, because maybe someone like Luke Sky 80, who's had a supremely good run there, up in 4th position, can be a factor in the battle for the podium, because he's only 17 seconds away. If he is trying to one-stop, hence why he's slower, or taking it easier on fuel, we could very well see a nice shake-up here today at Brno. And bouncing over the curbs is Luke Sky 80. We're keeping a close eye on him just to see if he will pit in towards the end of this lap. It will be about 45 seconds or so, but this does mean though that since our race leader's pitted in, Bill's Lounge is now resuming himself back in 5th position, so no traffic immediately ahead of him, only Luke Sky 80 very shortly. We've got AG06 and Jamie fighting over the lead. And no cars either decide to pit in yet, so their battle will stay for the lead for a while longer. Lap number 16 commences. A run through of your very jumbled up order at this stage, and it's AG06 that leads from Jamu. Agvarti is in 3rd currently, in front of Luke Sky, Lounger, Tallyho, Mr. PA, Fregel, Lolin Fox, who missed his pit box. I'm not trying to rhyme, and there's no such thing as chicken pox in Simraceway. So there you go, that will be on an advertisement very shortly, I'm sure, for a new car release. See brilliant wrapping skills there as Lolling Fox tries to get his race back underway, but he's in 8th place as a couple of other drivers make their way down pit road, and it's a very long pit lane here at Brno. You don't really want to spend too much time there, but Fregel is the man who we're trying to keep an eye on. He leaves pit road now, much smoother stop though than the man in front of him, and in fact he's only 32 seconds adrift from Lolling Fox. And I'll tell you what, the shading here is absolutely beautiful. AGO6 with those headlights on is pulling away by 2.3 seconds, but you turn your attention to the sky and you look how gorgeous the lighting's beginning to look, and into the deep forest here of Brno, how well the drivers are reacting and adapting to the current situation on the circuit as the ambient temperature will start to drop. Luke Sky still ahead of Lounger at the moment, so bizarrely enough, Lounger's not been able to catch Luke Sky as quick as we thought. He was 3 seconds adrift before, he's now just over 2 seconds. Romano had an extremely solid lead going into the pit lane. It's definitely not retained that same sense of dominance as he's made his endeavour back out onto the circuit once again. Another factor, of course, which may add into Lounger's loss of dominance will be the fact that he is potentially going to be stuck behind Luke Sky. You can see it already, he's edged a lot closer in his previous lap or so, but Luke Sky does not have to give away that position. They're battling over 4th position. He's not a lapped car, he doesn't have to yield, there will be no blue flags waved by the men in orange. And what this means is Luke Sky is going to have to be very defensive. He can defend all he wants. Lounger is going to have to be very aware of what's going on. He cannot send silly manoeuvres up the inside because he will jeopardise all of that time that he has to yet gain back from those left to pit. So Luke Sky is going to be more of a hindrance and a help here to Lounger, and it's become very much a mobile chicane because Lounger's going to have to try and figure out a way to get through him. Surely that's going to take quite some doing at the moment. Through the penultimate corner they go, and your race leader still not pitting, separated by just over a second. Very intriguing stuff, isn't it? Another lap in the books. They keep making their way down the line, and it is very exciting to see now as it start to darken up a little bit in terms of the night sky, and taking a look at what you guys are saying on the chat here, and a couple of people maybe just saying that a little bit of bad luck there for stuntman Mike. And one of those, G Cortese 49, says that it's been a boring race for Lounger, and obviously missing the presence and fight that Cortese has to offer. And maybe it was a boring race for Lounger, but right now I think it's done the complete opposite. Lounger has got his work completely cut out for him, as Luke Sky will absolutely relent to letting him past. And now up the hill they climb, and I'll tell you what, Lounger will not be the happiest of drivers right now, as Luke Sky goes just a little offline there on lap number 18 of 27, but my goodness me, is this going to be a thrilling climax, because of course, let's take a look at lap times then. This will show us if Luke Sky is a hindrance or no. A 143.194 from AGO6, a 143.4 from JMU, a 142.7 from Anxiety, and a 143.5 from Lounger, but he's gone to the inside, he's had enough of waiting. The wait is over, up the inside, a little bit of oversteer, but nothing he can't control. He knows Lounger should be able to hold on to that, so Luke Sky does not send one back up the inside. So Lounger does take 4th, but he's now 25 seconds back from the race leader, with drivers still perhaps to make pit stops. It's not a definite though. There is no guarantee that either AG06 or Jamie are going to dive into pit road and get a new set of tyres or a splash of fuel there though. So the race continues, and as does the frustration what must be for Lounger building inside that cockpit. He wants to get himself back in contention for a win. Something that is very, very difficult to do. No, he's got himself, what, 19 seconds now to the nearest man, and we have to keep an eye on our race leaders to see if they do decide to divert down the pit lane, especially towards the end of the laps. We're only going to have 8 more laps of racing here at Brno, and I wish we could have 80 more, but unfortunately these drivers do have social lives, and I'm sure many will be extremely tired from watching as much of the 124 as they could. I tried my best, but unfortunately having to travel back from Castle Combe was occupied my thoughts. But so in between every train stop I was watching it on my iPad and trying to work out live timing and things like that. But it was great to go from Castle Combe club racing with things like BMWs and single seaters to them watching Le Mans, to them watching virtual racing. So the complete spread here today. It's been a very much a dream life. And Jamie's going to be looking to try and make it a dream finish. He's only 2 seconds still behind AG06. Anxiety clawing his way back though after his moment of madness earlier on, which is fantastic to see. But he's not given up, and as we say, consistency has been his issue all afternoon. But obviously answering his critics though, that 1:42.7 last time round, the fastest lap of the race so far. The man is not giving up by any stretch of the imagination, and I think that's a bit of a wobble with Jamie there. That was not the nicest that Toyotas look going around the corner. In fact, they look fairly wobbly, if I do say so. A rundown of the order then as they come towards the end of lap number 20. It's AG06 that leads from Jamie. Anxiety spun again. Oh, cursed, haven't I? I think we should just not mention him now and call him John or Jeff or Alan or someone who must not be named, because every time we mention Anxiety's consistency he tends to go for a spin, and that is absolutely devastating because he was just 2 seconds away, set the fastest lap of the race last time round, and now finds himself 15 seconds away from the nearest competitor, and that is a real shame. Now he decides to pit in for fresh rubber. No, he doesn't, so still feeling confident. The two race leaders also remain out on the circuit. He's only 4 seconds away now from Lounger and only 9 away from Luke Sky 80. That's going to be interesting, isn't it? If Luke Sky passes Lounger, he's only going to be about 5 seconds away from a podium. So plenty of plot twists, I'm sure, left to unfold here in the closing stages of this race here at Brno. And just remember that if you want to get involved in a race like this, you can always head over to simraceway.com and download the game for absolutely free of charge. Many of the cars have just been repriced. We have test drives every week, or alternatively, every race you do, you earn credits, and you can basically buy any car in the game with those credits and get yourself into a championship like this, or one of the many user-created ones, and feature yourself onto our YouTube channel Spotlight and win the chance to fight for real money in a 4-week series like these drivers are now. And I've got a very good feeling there could very well be a very, very big announcement regarding the next championship round the corner very soon. So be sure to keep an eye peeled for that one, or sign up to our Simraceway newsletter so you never miss a beat of the action that always expands here around the Simraceway game and environment. You've got all of the Jim Russell series at the PDC as well, which always offer some breathtaking racing in the real equivalent of the Lola Formula 3 cars. And that 22 underway. It's still AG06 that leads from Jamie, Anxiety from Lounger from Luke Sky, so still the leaders have not pitted yet. I'd be wondering, is Lounger Was his pace all to come from that being underfueled? I mean, was he that fast early on? Oh, and Jamie one spot, he's in the wall! And he pirouettes 4 or 5 times. Points in the right direction. He's got to hurry up because now Anxiety will see that time crumbling. Lounger's there as well, and once again a 3-way battle for second is about to develop. We were saying, is Lounger's pace all down to the fuel? Because as these cars have gotten lighter, they've been able to fight Lounger and pull away from him as such. But now, when they're all on very near amounts of fuel, can't imagine the amount of pressure now that we mounted on Jamie 1's shoulders. And now take a look at what's going on there as Anxiety's all over Lounger. Lounger's just got his way into 3rd position. I was taking a look at Jamie, making sure he doesn't go off again, and before you know it, Anxiety has lost another game. So Lounger 3rd, Anxiety pressing still in 4th with 6 laps remaining here at Brno. Incredible scene starting to develop here at the moment. It just never ceases to dry up, does it? Constant action. A bit of an off there, I think that was for Jamie, just running slightly wide, picking up some dust, or maybe just going off route to take a seaside selfie. Either way, Jamie 1 will not be wanting to linger around too much because only 3 seconds away is a recovering Lounger who may have made the wrong call in terms of his pit stop because he's now 3rd. He did have a 20-second advantage over the field when he entered the pits. That has now turned into a 17-second deficit as he's now in 3rd trying to chase down Jamie and AGO6. We've got Anxiety in 4th who he's just passed, but they won't want to linger around now. Lounger's trying to fight his way through. Anxiety's recovering from 2 mistakes he's made today. And then Luke Sky in 5th with Tally Ho in 6th. 7th Mr. PA, 8th Colin Fox, 9th is Fraggle, 10th Max the Game with 57. 11th Mr. Jolly, 12th place El Nino, and 13th Devil Bevin. But my goodness me, what a weekend it's been of action here so far. It really is fantastic to see that coming off of a weekend at Castle Combe and seeing some of the closest club racing imaginable, a race where the winner was just separated by 0.02 seconds over the line, that you still see close, if not closer racing here in Simraceway, which is absolutely remarkable. So it just shows you how close to real life these simulators can get, and Simraceway definitely the best of them in terms of value for money, the free to download game with the friendly community. And Anxiety did have his pit button lit for a short moment there, but unfortunately it was revoked, so maybe thinking about a pit stop as the track starts to set into dusk-like conditions. That maybe just picturing the sunset at Le Mans, as many of these drivers will hope to make the journey next year or in the next few to spectate such a gorgeous event. It really is definitely a dream of mine to come and take there one day, and who knows, I might even see a couple of you around at the Circuit de la Sarthe one day in the future. Who knows what the future holds, but right now they're just focusing on getting to the end of the circuit of Brno, let alone La Sarthe. So it's still Jamie that leads that 3-way duel for second place at the moment. For how much longer remains to be seen. We're going to have 3 more laps of racing come the end of this one. There's still a hell of a lot to play for though. As Lounger tries to duck himself back underneath and maybe just get a bit more creative with the moves he's trying to plant on Jamie, because obviously Jamie's had a good 40 minutes of this so far. He's quite comfortable at fending off Anxiety because, you know, he's been there for 40 minutes. He doesn't need to worry. He's got himself sussed out completely. He knows every trick in the book. So Anxiety is going to have to throw out every trick in the book to catch him, but Lounge is ripping up the playbook to try and find a way past Jamie, and he's almost looking to the inside, but only 3 laps to go. You've got to wonder if Jamie or AGO6 will be pitting, and if they're not, their tyres will be ripped to shreds under the arches of the Toyota TS020. Especially AGO6, who's pushed out a 17-second lead at the moment, so if they do not pit, Jamie 1 is on old tyres, Lounger is on a very fresh set, and you can see the deficit there as Lounger goes through, and I'm not too sure if Jamie's lagged out or no, he is still there, but he's come back into the race after the lag, down in 4th. So Activity finds himself on the podium in the final stages of the race. Whether he can keep it there or no remains to be seen. Jamie's still going to push for it, and Jamie will be absolutely devastated with what he's just encountered. It was Activity from Jamie. Luke Sky 5th, Tally Ho is in 6th place, P8 all the way back in 7th, a whopping 57 seconds away. But nonetheless, a solid result there from Mr. P8. Lolin Fox down in 8th after what could have been a big run, but of course overshooting his pit box meant that he lost a good 10-20 seconds, and that has now seen him down to 8th. And how different would this race have been had he not missed that pit box and been able to fight with the big boys like Luke Sky, Jamie and Anxiety for the podium positions. But surprisingly enough, the man who started his race on pole now finds himself back in 2nd, despite being one of only a very rare few drivers to make the journey down pit road. Many drivers risking to not pit in and go the whole way to try and gain an advantage. And indeed, it may have just worked. Not long left to go. We're on the penultimate lap here at Brno. Another rundown of the order in the top 5 as it stands, and night starts to settle in. PGO6 leads the way after 26 laps of racing. Lounge is in 2nd. Now Luke Sky's 3rd, 4th place. We're getting, I think that's a completely wrong reading, because Jamie's now fighting with Lolin Fox. Now I'm presuming Jamie's lagged out again or something, or there's some sort of weird glitch in the system. Yeah, I'm going to wait for that to fizzle out before I make a completely wrong call, because I'm pretty sure Tally Ho is not in 4th position. We'll wait and see. I know he's been consistent all afternoon, but I don't think he's been quite that quick to get himself in the mix of the top 5. I may be proved wrong, so I'll wait and see if the timing does sort out. But Jamie fighting PA then, the closest battle on the circuit. That's 6 seconds away, but Jamie and Lolin Fox is the one that really captivates the hearts and minds of the audience at the moment. Lolin Fox now trying to attack Jamie 1. He's just a few seconds away, and we've seen this so many times before here in Simraceway. It's never over until that checkered flag flies, and we've got 1.5 laps more of racing for these gentlemen here today to endure. And you've got to feel like that they're going to be giving it their all. One more lap for them, it will be go then. So AGO6 is going to head 4. And oh, Luke Sky's in! Luke Sky pits in at the end! Lap 27! Now he's out in a very short fuel stop. Can he beat out that battle with Jamie or no? That is going to be some intense pressure on him. He's rolling his way down pit road. Where oh where? Jamie and company, there they come. Luke Sky's out in front, but he's only just in front of PA. And Mr. PA will be feeling elated. Luke Sky's got to get those tyres warmed up. He's only got a lap to do it and fend off a charging Mr. PA. The battle for Lolin Fox in Jamie, the supremacy reigns on there. But AGO6 is set for sensation again. Now he's done it here once before and not stopped. He's doing it again here today. The man, the master of strategy, is going to provide yet another shocker. He's done it before. He's up there with the ranks of AZ best when it comes to risky strategy calls. But let's take a look at the battles that are forming. Lolin Fox and Jamie over 7th and 8th. Tally Ho is in 3rd position. That was not a mistake. There was a couple of moments, and Tally Ho is now in front. So Anxiety is 4th, Luke Sky 5th, 6th is PA, 7th Lolin Fox, followed by Jamie. Frego is in 9th, but AGO6 does not stop, and AGO6 wins the race. And he's absolutely delighted. It's Lounger that pulls into the finish in 2nd, but Lounger had a 20-second lead back to AGO6. It was never going to be a win for AGO6. It was never on the cards, and he risked it. He did not stop. He nursed the tyres, he nursed the engine, and takes his first ever Simraceway victory. What an achievement for AGO6. What a fantastic achievement. Lounger takes 2nd, and the debut of a lifetime for Tally Ho. He takes 3rd position in his first ever Simraceway event. Axvarti takes 4th, Luke Sky 5th, PA 6th, Lolin Fox 7th, Jamie in 8th, Fregel 9th, Baxagaber in 10th, Jolly 11th, El Nino out of the race in 12th, Devil Bev in 13th, Stuntman Mike 14th, and that rounds out your runners. But my goodness me, what a podium. AGO6's first ever Simraceway victory. After a risky strategy call, the tyres would have been completely shredded come the end of that stint. It may as well have been razor blades attached to the reel arches, just tearing through the rubber as AGO6 tried to nurse that car home. He got the job done by just over a second. Lounger finished in 2nd position after starting on pole. 3rd place was a rookie. And if that doesn't give you an example as to how competitive this game really is, I don't know what will. Be sure to download it. It's completely free to play, and you too can find yourself in the spotlight here on the Simraceway YouTube channel. A massive thank you to all of you who've tuned in here today, and to our racers for taking the time out to provide us with some breathtaking action around the gorgeous Brno Raceway. To our cameraman Carlos Nofisi for giving up his time to provide you with some of the most exquisite camera views in all of sim racing. To our race administrator Kasako for putting this all on. A gorgeous event, round 2 of the championship. We cannot wait for round 3 next weekend. And to you guys at home for watching, you always do make this such a pleasure and an honour to commentate on. I ran to the train station this morning to try and get home in time for these races, and luckily I made it in time, and I'm so happy that I did. So we hope you all had a fantastic weekend of racing here at Le Mans and Brno indeed. So we'll see you next week for round 3 of the Design for Speed Championship. If you want to get in contact, head over to facebook.com/SimRaceway or twitter.com/@SimRaceway, or my personal one at LiamJenkins21. So from myself, Liam Jenkins, we'll see you next time round for round 3, the penultimate event of your Design for Speed Championship.